Evelyn, who's in the chat room right now, wrote in and she says, could you please help me understand what Paul means when he says the following? This is from 1 Corinthians 15:29. It says, otherwise, what do people mean by being baptized on behalf or in behalf of the dead? If the dead are not raised at all, why are people baptized on their behalf? Now, there's multiple scholarly understandings of this. My father takes one that I had never heard, and I asked him where he wrote on this, and he couldn't remember, so I haven't actually been able to look into his research on this. He takes the view that baptism for the dead is a reference to taking a full mikveh for corpse defilement. Now, my father and I had quite a discussion about this yesterday because I said to him, if this is true, if what you're talking about is true, then it's the only place that I can find where the word baptism is directly linked to mikveh, that is ritual bathing. Now, I know that there is baptismo is used for washing hands in 2 of the Gospels. It's also talked about for washing utensils in a ritualistic form. So I'm not saying that there isn't some crossover there, but I don't find any place, or at least I haven't been able to yet, and I'm willing to see this.
I thought we talked about this. I thought your dad wrote about it. It's in Ben Sirah, which was originally written in Greek or Hebrew, but it was translated into Greek in 1st century BC. I think it was translated to Greek in the late 2nd century BC. And it talks about those who are baptized for the dead, and if they touch a corpse again, what good did it do them?
I don't remember that conversation.
I don't remember if this was in our show or a side conversation.
I think this is a side conversation.
But it is there anyway.
The problem that I'm having though is that I don't see how this would correlate to what Paul is talking about in 1 Corinthians 15:29. In other words, it doesn't seem like he's talking about.
Well, the context is resurrection.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand I don't understand the link that would be made there. That's why I would want to see my father's research on this, because I don't see the link. It seems like that's trying to force something into the text to me. But I would need to see that. I would need to see
the way I understand it. And again, it's a topic I haven't thought about for a while. But how did the washing and the process by which a person who is contaminated by a corpse is restored to full fellowship and then is a candidate for worship again and coming into the temple and worshiping? That's where life is. Life is in holiness and purity and proximity to God. Death is when you're moved out of that because of sin and death that's in the world. And so it's not a function of sin. Like if someone dies and we tend to that body, we're actually doing what God said to do, but there's a consequence, temporal consequence of the week-long procedure of washing, and there's a whole mystery here of how a priest who comes and ministers that cleanliness, they obtain a day's worth of corpse defilement just to come out and help with the process by which a person is restored back into the inside to purity where life is. And I think it's a picture of resurrection. So personally, it is a difficult passage, and it's led to crazy things. Like I think this is the verse where the Mormons will baptize. Like they got it right. The Mormons that they baptized like people who are alive, baptized in the name of deceased people, like weird stuff.
Can you bump your mic level up just a hair?
Testing 1 2 check. Did that make a difference here?
I don't know. Well,
test.
Okay, so that's one.
Anyway, it's a great.
What Rob is talking about is one avenue that I would need to study more before I took a hard view. Either way, the way that I've always understood it was in David Garland's commentary on 1 Corinthians. He gives 3 main views that are taken by scholars today. I've always taken his second view, This is what he says. And I pulled the full quote. It's a little bit long, but I think it'll help explain this. This is the reason that I believe the view that I currently hold is the reason I hold it is because of this commentary. He says, other views explain the term dead as a metaphor for the condition of believers who receive baptism. The recipients are in effect dead bodies when they are baptized. Understand on behalf of the dead to refer not to some third party, but to the subject, those who are being baptized. And paraphrases it, quote, otherwise, what do those hope to achieve who are baptized for their dying bodies? If the completed dead are not raised, why then are they baptized for themselves as corpses? This view has several advantages. Now he goes through the advantages. And one of the things that I found interesting is in his third advantage, he says, third, it is compatible with Pauline theology. Paul interprets baptism as a symbol of death and resurrection, and the dead either characterizes the individual's pre-baptismal state or refers to the individual's soon-to-be dead body. And then he says cross-reference Romans 6, 3 through 14, Ephesians 2, 1 and 5, and Colossians 2, 13, where Paul specifically talks about you were dead in your trespasses, all these kind of things. So the idea is when Paul says this in 1 Corinthians, what he's saying is, why are you going to get baptized? If there's no resurrection, if there's no resurrection, why get baptized into Christ at all? Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and check out more videos from Messiah Matters.